Zoom is in news quite a bit nowadays. We have also done some research with cybersecurity people. They said it's perfectly okay, nothing wrong. And Microsoft has also gone to same trouble now. But we are taking some precaution, screen sharing, blocking the thing.
Okay.
So we don't, once the program starts, we really don't allow people to come in again unless otherwise, We've done some precautions, but I don't know how much it'll take us through. But Zoom is very easy to operate actually.
Yeah. They've also plugged a lot of the security issues, I'm told.
Yes.
So it should be okay.
We had a session on cybersecurity issues post-COVID actually, going digital what. It's very interesting session with speakers sharing lots of ideas on what is the dark web and what's happening, how it will protect yourself. Quite interesting session we had. Waiting for CKR. You'll join in any moment. Then we'll go.
CKR, yes, joined.
Good evening, CKR. Welcome. If you respond, you'll come up, will ya?
Just now, ipo without.
Must be connected.
Good evening, CKR. Welcome.
Good evening, JC. How are you?
Welcome, sir. Yes. It's always a pleasure to have you with us, actually.
My pleasure too. My pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Your background always reminds me, I'm sure, Mr. David also of our Kodakal.
Good evening, Mr. Renganathan.
Good evening, David. How are you?
Very well. How are you?
Very fine.
Always a pleasure to interact with you.
It's my pleasure too. How are things going on?
Yes, another 2 minutes to go. We are already on air and a lot of excitement, Mr. CK. A lot of people are eagerly awaiting to listen to you and Mr. David Appasami's interaction with you.
Okay, that's good. I'm also eagerly looking forward to.
In fact, this morning we had an interesting interaction on socio-economic implications for India healthcare response to COVID-19. In fact, the Roche International MD spoke to us. He said they got some breakthrough solutions and which is coming through, and he shared a lot of insights on this. The way he shared with us, it looks like things should be okay in another 1 or 2 months.
Oh, that's good to hear. Very good. Very happy to hear that.
We had a very nice, interesting interaction, and also we had quite a bit of interaction with how it's going to impact the social sector, especially the migrant laborers, and how we don't take care, how it's going to impact the society so much, and how to build the confidence in them wherever they may go back to their place. It's a quite interesting session we had this morning with 3 outstanding speakers, actually.
So,
yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Please go ahead, Mr.
No, that's okay. I think we have another 2 minutes more, no?
Yes,
1 minute.
Another minute more.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can start. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Very warm welcome to each one of you. Join this program live. You're all aware, MMA, from the day the lockdown was announced, we have been on air. We adapted ourselves to the social media initiatives. From 25th onwards, we have been bringing you programs all through the day. That is from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock in the evening. We start the event with yoga, and thereafter we share with you a bundle of quizzing, and the quizzing has become really popular. I think we reached up to 1,000 numbers now because we wanted to kindle the thought process of many and get addicted to quizzing. Quizzing addiction is much better than your addiction to the phone and television. Then thereafter at 11 o'clock every morning, we bring you excellent speech by outstanding speakers from the industry and from academia, from the known social service sector. Then from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the evening, every day we have been giving you a series of certificate courses, workshops, programs, which are very popular. Not only for the corporate world, we are arranging programs. We also organize programs for growing big, for young talents we are at home, because they're going to be locked up at home. Schools are not very sure when they are going to reopen. We open some programs, especially for the kids growing big, and some outstanding speakers. We're going to teach them various methodology in which you should follow while in COVID and how to enhance the skill while staying at home. Thereafter, in the evening, again, 6 o'clock, we have a talk by an outstanding one section we are going to listen to just while from now. Then we also share business quiz puzzles with everybody. Excellent articles we are sharing with everybody. Idea is to keep you engaged all through the day so that you forget your lockdown and you maintain the social distancing and don't watch television, get worried what's going to happen, because fear is the one which kills you. We don't want you to be a part of the fear syndrome, so that our program, which we've been offering it to you from morning till evening, will enhance you. I know there's so many messages and mails we send it to you. You would have missed it, some of important programs which you are sending it to you. I quickly take a minute to tell you what are the programs going to be there next few days till 3rd. Tomorrow we are having a program on success story of it was done by Mr. Bharat Bala. He's a screenwriter, producer, director who has produced some of the finest films on Vande Mataram to inspire so many millions of people. He's going to be talking to us on this, what made him to do this rather than going for thorough commercial profession. Then along with him, we have Aishwarya Manivannan. She is the world Chilambam champion. Why we brought her? Because the Bharat Bala's recent picture is on 3,000 years of Chilambam in Tamil Nadu. So it's going to be a very, very interesting evening tomorrow. Please do join us. While we bring in so many events related to only management, we have thought we should bring it to politics. Corona has not spared anybody, including the political system. The COVID-19 impact of Indian politics. We have 3 outstanding politicians: Palnivel Tyagarajan, member of Legislative Assembly, Tamil Nadu; Maffai Pondigajan, our Honorable Minister from Tamil Nadu; and Mr. Ema Chandran is an MP from Kollam. They are going to be sharing with you the regional and as well as national perspective. What is the impact on politics? How is it going to do? What is the federal structure? How does it work? We have really done very beautifully, especially Tamil Nadu, our interaction with the central government in terms of implementing many of the project which has been put through during the COVID. How the political system is going to work? How the social gathering and our social distancing will be ensured? If the political alignment will change, you're going to have lots of questions, and do attend this. It will be very, very inspiring for you. Besides that, we are sure 3rd of May, what's going to happen, we are not sure. So we are sure about our future. We kept on organizing programs all through the May. On 5th of May, we have an uncommon leader in conversation with Madhulata. She is president of the Wheelchair Association of India, which will be in conversation with Avis. Then we are going to have an event on time management. We are having another event most probably on the 7th, Exercise Your Way to Stress-Free Life, where Yadapadam Krishnamurthy along with Dr. Sheila Nambi are going to be talking to us. So only a few, I don't want to think, I'm really waiting for some more people to come. I think we are going to get locked down in even our Zoom. We already reached that magic figure of 95. Then coming to today's topic, marketing for the future. There's a lot of demand for this because there's a lot of uncertainty in the minds of people. What is going to be happen to me? There is a lot of fear. So how are you going to reopen our products, and how are you going to tell the habits of the people have changed? Many people said people have become more frugal. They're not going to spend money. They're not going to go for brands. There's so many conflicting things coming into the situation today, and we are also not sure about what is going to happen. The situation is very, very uncertain. Nobody knows what is doing. Business is going to struggle surely for a while. Nobody could be better than Mr. C.K. Renganathan today, who is going to speak to share with us, along with David Appasamy, what is marketing for the future? Soothe your mind, calm your mind. Yesterday we had a very good session on stress management. I'm quite today's session will be much better than the stress management for you today. Keep listening to the conversation between Mr. David Appasamy and C.K. Renganathan. I'm quite sure it's going to take you through wonderfully in terms of your marketing. Not only for marketing, even all other issues what you're going to be facing today. Post-COVID is a reality, so it's better to face them, and so that you don't get into any of the things. Let me have the privilege of introducing Mr. David Appasamy, who is going to be in conversation. It's a fireside chat, going to be in conversation with Mr. C.K. Renganathan. David Appasamy heads the brand and strategy of Social Beat, a fast-growing digital marketing company. Currently, is the director on the board of Kodaikanal International School, one of the finest schools I know personally. They are doing extremely well in Kodaikanal. Over 25 years of experience in senior positions in the corporate world. Member of the Business Action in support of Information Society of International Chamber of Commerce, and is also a regular speaker at the international forums. As the ED of the microfinance company, turned it into a dynamic organization, into a great organization, really needing it, making needs of so many poor. Served as a VP of SIFI, worked extensively in USA in his assignment, in his work as a SIFI, implementing various policies. Was also GM of Mudra and was a part of the global network globally. And is not only that in business, his contribution to the society has been phenomenal. He's founded Appasamy Trust, his mission to work for the upliftment of the disadvantaged children in society, and Roof for the Roofless, and is another initiative where he imparts skills on the local youth to make them empowered for employable. He's a qualified in hotel management, and also is a business management degree with IIM Ahmedabad, and he's also an avid photographer, traveler, reader, and blogger. Very warm welcome to you, Appasamy. We're all eagerly looking forward to your conversation with Mr. C.K. Renganathan.
Thank you.
Mr. CKR, it's always a privilege for me to introduce CKR, interact with him. I have had the single privilege of interacting with him since the time I joined Madras Management Association. And Mr. C.K. Renganathan, formerly popularly known as CKR, is the founder chairman of Cabin Care. Born in Kadalur, Tamil Nadu, after a bachelor degree in chemistry, a brief stint with the family businesses, he started his own business with a seed capital of only rupees 15,000. In 1983, he started his first company, and finally, the Cabin Care was born in the year 1998. A pioneer in innovation, created innovative projects adapted to technology to improve the lifestyle of the consumers. Under his guidance and trends and work as a pioneer into a concept family saloon and Lifeline and Green Trends in work has been in the focus of providing grooming and personal salon system and personal solution to men, women, and children. Sikher was also conferred the prestigious Entrepreneurship Year of the Award by the Economic Times in 2001, which is a dream of many of the entrepreneurs. He's also a winner of 2018 ICIS World Surfactants Award for an outstanding contributor in the field of surfactant industry. And incidentally, I think the surfactant award for this year has been postponed, CCAR, because of the coronavirus to September. He was chairman of the CIA Tamil Nadu Council, and he was also past president of Madras Management Association. I want to share with the members today, one of the viewers, I joined MMA during the CKR. He's the one who inducted me to MMA. Thanks, CKR. It's been a wonderful journey since the time 2007, and he was my first president of MMA. It's always a great, sweet memories and fond memories of what I have in MMA. And he was also founder member of the Ability Foundation. You all know the great work done by Ability Foundation to promote entrepreneurship innovation. He also instituted Chinnikishan Innovation Award in the year 2001 in memory of his late father, Mr. Chinnikishan. And again, MMA has a singular privilege to associate with this award and helping Cabin Care to identify the great innovators. It's been a very popular award and most sought after award in the field of innovation and entrepreneurship. Sikar's endeavor is to philanthropy is outstanding, giving back to the people, mainly in the field of education, CK School of Practical Knowledge, CK College of Engineering, and MBA Institute of Kadalur, and many more. And it's always a privilege and single pleasure for each one of us to be listening to Mr. CK this evening. Over to David to take you through the future for marketing. CK, once again, very welcome to you. Looking forward to hearing you this evening.
Thanks, JC. Thanks for a very liberal introduction.
Thanks, Group Captain. So, Mr. Renganathan, I thought we could start with the context in which we're having this discussion, which is, the pandemic. Let's have your views on the pandemic. How long do you think this situation is going to last, and when the recovery can begin?
My viewpoint is Corona is going to live with us as long as human beings are going to be alive.
Yes.
Not going to go away. The vaccine is one long-term solution that we can keep it at bay. Is my viewpoint. Vaccine has to come, and vaccine normally it takes 3 to 4 years time. Any vaccine to get developed. Even on a fast track, I think it may take about 12 months to 18 months kind of a thing. I'm not sure within 12 months time any vaccine can be identified, or some other kind of miracle can happen. Say, for example, a quick medicine, something is being talked about in US yesterday. I saw in the news that there is some medication which is promising, which works quickly. If the patients are treated, the recovery is very fast. That means it looks like it's not going to be fatal. People can get recovered as like a flu.
Right.
That itself will reduce. If it is like a flu, people won't mind. It's okay. I get a flu, then I can get treated quickly. The fatality, even though the fatality levels are as high as 10%, even if it's 4%, 5%, it's a fear. It spreads fear in the society.
Absolutely.
So my viewpoint is it's a miracle. If some miracle happens, it can happen anytime. We should keep our hopes alive on miracles to happen. It may be 4 months, 3 months, 6 months like that. Otherwise, I think 12 months to 18 months away is my viewpoint. And so for all practical purposes, we work like it is 12 to 18 months away. This is the way world is going to operate. How are you going to perform?
Right.
I think it makes it very comfortable for us to operate. If this is the way world is going to perform, how are you going to survive and operate?
Right. It is true that this is not going to go away. A lockdown will only slow it down in terms of its spread. But yes, it's a long-term thing. So what would you advise for business sustainability until we can start recovery when restrictions are listed?
I think the business sustainability is, each business is very different, the turf which you are in. Some business I very, very difficult. If you are in an airline business, you have to very radically look at what needs to be done. I think It is, you need to wait for some good times and look better. Parallelly, look at what else could be done. So better way to do that in airlines industry is to convert all your carrier into this thing, goods carrier.
Mm.
Yeah, cargo one. That would be a short-term thing that you can benefit. I see some of them are already doing it. I saw SpiceJet and many other kind of airlines are converting their passenger one into cargo ones. So I think it is going to be very difficult. One of the hotels also very badly affected. They said, okay, I'm going to give it to corona patients. They are kind of thing. This is the way it is. It can be occupied for that kind of thing, giving it like that. So that I think it depends on the kind of thing, how you are going to handle this. Parallelly, I think some of these, because the customer spending is going to be reduced. It's the biggest thing. If a lot of job loss will be there. And it is inevitable worldwide. Whether you or not, government can give a mandatory thing. You can't, you have to pay salary kind of thing. It can happen for 1 month, 2 months. How long people can hold on? Small businesses cannot even hold on for a month. That itself is much of a burden for them. So given this kind of a circumstance, I think it needs to be sustainability is very clearly looking at options in this kind of a scenario. What I do, give both it's going to live at short term for about say a year or 6 months. But still 6 months, how do I float? Can I do something in the 6 months to keep myself afloat, or wait for the sunrise? Is only this thing. The corona will go off. I'll wait for that. I would not wait like that. If I am there in that kind of position, I would always look for option to what else I can do to survive, create a new opportunity in this time. Even though if my sector is affected, can I create a new opportunity? Can I make myself very light so that I can float instead of carrying a heavy baggage? Whatever is the fixed cost, how do I cut down my fixed costs post the kind of lockout period is open? And anytime I'm flexible enough to rebuild it quickly is how I think you need to look at that kind of thing. So if sectors, like discretionary sectors are also getting affected, I think it's essential thing that will survive. I think the basic necessities is what people will be looking. We are all living with frugal living if you look at during the lockout period.
Yes.
Nobody can say I'm as usual, I'm doing all the kind of thing. No, everybody is right from food to everything, the options are limited now.
Yeah.
What is available, we eat.
Very true. Unless we adapt and unless we are flexible, we're not going to be able to survive in this kind of an environment.
Absolutely.
And waiting for 12 months is not really an option. I think we need to be able to be quick. You're absolutely right there. Thank you for sharing that perspective. How do you see the media landscape changing?
I'm also reminded of a quote by Charles Darwin and Andy Grove. I would like to state here.
Please go ahead.
It's very important thing that change in mindset is very important. It is not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one which is most responsive to change. This is by Charles Darwin. The Andy Grove's quote goes like this: "It isn't every crisis is an opportunity. Bad companies are destroyed by crisis. Good companies survive them, and great companies are improved by them." We need to ask ourselves: are we a bad company, good company, or a great company?
A great company.
So that's the way I would put it.
It's very interesting, because in its latest blog post, Bill Gates of Microsoft has said that this is the Third World War. The difference is all the countries of the world are aligned on one side against an unseen enemy who's only revealed through testing. So, very interesting quote that was. How do you see the media landscape changing at this time? And what do marketers have to do to be effective in this scenario?
I think the media landscape is lot of online thing is quite a lot of thing is changing. Online is most welcome, but offline also, if you look at the GRPs, the television rating TRPs and all is flying.
Yeah.
The channels after a long time, they are all kind of saying everybody is locked at home. What to do? How long I'll be on the net? So I'm seeing so many programs and so on. But at the same time, the news channels are the most favorite, if you look at it. So every time, though you know what is, nothing is going to come, your mind constantly go back to kind of seeing what is there in the news, anything else I can get. So consumers are very hungry of, very anxiety, very hungry of some better news. Is there something, hope will come? That is what is, I think, they are searching for that. So I think TV is also flying. Post that, I think my viewpoint, once lockout is over, the social media, once the kind of thing, the Amazons and the Flipkarts of the world are allowed to deliver non-essential goods, and quite a lot of traffic you can see on the online, and both in e-commerce, also in the social space, it will be much more active. And my viewpoint is this is here to stay. For the, at least my gut is e-commerce will double, minimum double this during this year.
Right.
If it doesn't double, when it will. Normally itself they grow 40, 50%, 60% like that. Phenomenal growth they show. So even if they are growing at 10% level kind of thing, they'll double. That means it will be 200% kind of a growth rate also. We should not be surprised, is what I would say.
Right.
One of the important contexts I would like to say is that social distancing is going to be a norm, and it's going to be a rule also. So you can't afford to. It's not that it's a self-discipline, I have to maintain social distance, but it will become a law also as we go forward. Because it will be, you are harming your own neighbor.
Yes.
So from that angle, I think it's going to be enacted as a law. Besides, the mask is now enacted, but I also feel social distancing also there in the
Yes, you're absolutely right. I think the way digital adoption has been accelerated by the pandemic is quite incredible, because there is no other option. Everybody's at home and everybody's online, or getting online now, even if they're not earlier, and consuming various kinds of things, and also taking part in e-commerce. And you've touched upon this a little earlier. Consumer sentiment, leave alone confidence, is quite low, and people are very stressed out, as you said. And the propensity to spend has changed. We're all into frugal living. So what do you think their priorities will be going forward? What kind of things will they be looking at really?
So priorities, I think it's fundamentally, if you look at the fear drives a lot of saving. So they will be frugal in their spending. Even if they have money, they would not like to kind of spend too much. So that is what you can see. Some people will be really short of money. Some people will have money, but I think they will be very frugal in nature, because they don't know how difficult it's going to be. Unless they are so sure the future is going to become normal. And they see the light clearly coming out, then they will open up the purse. So till such time, consumers will be very, very cautious with money. So the kind of discretionary item and the kind of lifestyle items will take a big beating.
Absolutely.
So that, I think, when you are not attending a marriage, so why would I go and buy my costly clothes and so on kind of thing? People would say, well, what is the point in kind of? So there's no marriage celebrations in a big hall, nothing like that. So everywhere, I think the expensive lifestyle items will have a big beating first time.
The focus will be on needs and not wants, I guess.
Absolutely. Even if it is affordable also, I'm there. Even if people can afford, some of them, they continue to earn good salary. They also may not open up the purse easily.
Yes.
So I think that is what you ought to know. And I am not comfortable in opening the purse despite me earning well. People mindset will be like that. The reason being, if I do that, I'll be seen very differently by others. This is not the time.
This is not the time. Absolutely. No conspicuous consumption.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So that I think is going to be. Therefore, it's not a good thing for a lot of sectors. Over a period of 3 decades, a lot of FMCG companies have created need for the consumers. Okay, those things suddenly started. It's like a pack of cards getting this thing collapsing. So they are suddenly getting challenged. It will not be going to bottom, but a lot of that basic thing is a kind of need will be. Slowly they'll say, no, I can live without that also. And my estimation is easily about 4 crore people minimum will leave the whole bargaining. That will put enormous pressure on the GDP and economic growth.
So 4 crore people, you said, will lose their jobs.
My viewpoint is that kind of a thing is what I'm estimating. So it's not going to be a small number kind of this thing, that because the small companies can't afford, and they will also quickly to spring back also. The moment opportunities are, they will spring back quickly. So quite a lot of them are makeshift. They can unfold, they can fold, they can do anything as they want. So I think that way they will quickly go to a shell for the time being. Some of them which are in the relevant sectors, and they may come back once they see the light. Is my viewpoint. So to that, the employability by those sectors, SMEs will get MSMEs will get a beating.
Very badly.
Very badly.
And the informal sector, of course, will be completely decimated, but they will be able to start quickly when things change.
Absolutely. The airlines, tourism, and the hotels, all kind of this thing will be having a big beating for some more time. So that I think is going to be very, very difficult. Some of the sectors will be flying. Of course, the masks and anything related to health and hygiene, cleanliness, okay, health and immunity boosters, they'll be highly in demand. And it will be very important and pertinent to note that whenever Ebola hit and also SARS and China, post that, if you look at the hygiene and cleanliness products took off very well.
Right.
Post thing, even at Ebola time. And same way, immunity boosters, health and immunity boosters. Anything the consumers felt this is going to be healthy, it is going to have much more immunity, increase my immunity. They are ready to open the purse. They are ready to spend. So those kind of products are very clearly seen jumping higher.
And we might see a change in habits also, no? Because if you look at Japan and the Far East, wearing a mask has become almost normal if somebody has a cold. So we are likely to see those kind of changes as well as we go forward, I think.
Absolutely. I think that will be a very clear this thing. Masks may become way of life. And I don't know what will happen to lipstick sales. So,
very
but
true.
if people are habituated, they might. But the key point is these are all the things that make. Well, suddenly, why do I have makeup when I'm putting a mask on my face when I go out? It's compulsory. So those kind of things might come. So we need to. But there may be different kind of products may emerge. Absolutely new, something from not heard of. Suddenly they may become high in demand. And I think the able mind will spot such kind of opportunities and come out with this.
Again, the ability to adapt and to be flexible and
Yeah,
respond to emerging needs, I think, will be the key.
absolutely. I agree with you. But it's a challenging time. But also there are opportunities. I can only say, if we fail to open up our eyes, we'll always see them as a problem. If we open up, I think we can see huge opportunities.
There's that old saying, no? If life has given you lemons, make lemon juice. Don't think it's a problem.
Well said.
So you've said that there could also be opportunities. What kind of opportunities do you think that brands or companies can cater to?
I already outlined the hygiene and cleanliness is a huge opportunity. They will fly. So it's easy you can go and fish where the fishes are. And it is a growing market. If the market is growing at 4%, 5%, it will be difficult unless you kind of this. If the market is going to grow at 30, 40%, anybody who introduces a product can succeed.
Yes.
And sanitizers, you know them. I think it was before COVID-19, it's a 810 crore market. So my guesstimate is today it is a 40,000 crore market.
Wow. My
Okay.
goodness.
Yeah, because suddenly so many people started using it. Is not still fully, the village level and all started not using it. They started using it, will be close to much higher kind of this thing. So assuming 50 paise per ml, you require 1 ml per time of usage. any person require about 5 times or 6 times in a normal day, assuming
Right.
that. So you have to spend 3 rupees a day. Imagine about 50 crore population is using that. So 150 crore in a day is the consumption.
Phenomenal.
So you can assume what kind of a thing I'm telling.
Hmm.
So that's the way it is. The opportunity is big.
Yes. And that's another product which might become part of habit in future. Hand sanitizers, because if you're used to using it and you become so conscious of hygiene, it's
Yeah.
likely that it'll become something common.
What will happen, David, if people get into that kind of hygiene habit, wearing a mask, wearing this thing, using the sanitizer very often, washing their hands with soap, a lot of the other flus and other small illness they get into, they get into medication and all will go off. Suddenly, I think it's an interesting thing to note that the small cases what the doctors will get may suddenly disappear, or maybe very, very less. Because hygiene habit gets this also this kind of cases won't come. So when the flu season is there, you can see the kind of this thing, people waiting in a big queue in front of doctors. I think all those things I think will be a thing if this habit picks up. But only one thing is the moment COVID-19 is behind, I think the hand sanitizer habit and all will slip off. It will not be at this level. Slowly it will kind of sink, but it might come back to, I think, even it may be 10,000 crore plus is my point.
That's a very interesting observation, actually, that if it becomes commonplace, you will have a reduction in the level of infections that have otherwise plagued society in a very common way, like the flu.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
that's not for a lot of medical companies.
Yes. So given this scenario, how do you think brand communications will change if more is shifting online?
Yeah, it will shift more online, but offline also, I would not say the print is one of the areas where it is most affected today. I think I wish it will come back. But only one thing is this prolonged period, people are getting used to consuming news either on the TV or on the mobile itself.
Yes.
If somebody is habituated to consuming news on the mobile, then it sets a habit. If I do it for 1 week, 10 days, 15 days, 1 month, 2 months, then the print may have a beating. But old habit never die hard. Sometime when you feel like the corona is behind, when you touch a paper and feel like reading it or a magazine, you feel, after a long time, getting back to it. So it's coming back to home. That kind of feel will have those who are used to. But what might happen is the younger generation who are also coming into the news, kind of this thing, they might straight away jump into the digital thing.
Yes.
Because this is an interesting time. This is the time a lot of people will be so far the youngsters who are so far not interested in any world affairs. They'll be in their own world of their own. Games or friends and kind of this thing, not interested in what's happening around kind of this thing. Suddenly will be more interested to know what is happening in the world. How the corona is affecting all these kind of things, they'll be more keen. So they will start consuming the news. Therefore, those kind of this thing, the new herd will straight away jump into. Already there is a significant portion they are getting into digital. This will be now full time into digital. Therefore, that will also affect some kind of a new inflow to the print media. Is my viewpoint. So I feel print media is in for a danger as of now, but it might come back. It might bounce back. This is my viewpoint, but though not to the high level the way it used to be. That comes to the social media. The online advertising will be the in thing. The social beat will be most sought after, I can tell you, David. We will be very happy because this COVID time, earlier itself, it is already on a road. This will dramatically will increase. So we ourselves are telling, why would we put so much money on TV and now, though people are seeing now in a lockdown period, now with the kind of habit changing, all these things, the social media is going to be significantly higher and higher. The games, the entertainments are flying now. You know that how many people are downloading games and playing.
Yes.
It's nominally gone up. The video chats and the kind of Zoom, It used to be 10 million. This went on to 2.2 million, and the whole this infrastructure collapsed. So before they could able to revive. So that kind of thing is what I'm trying to say, is that it is the opportunity is so big, somebody is not able to handle that kind of opportunity.
Yes. It is true. We are seeing massive growth in all digital platforms in terms of their use because of the current situation.
Absolutely.
Quite interesting.
And also I feel once the mobile phone is, mobile stores are open, you can see a good rush of the digital phone rushing, first time new users. So the smartphones will be highly sought after. Those who have missed it in so far will suddenly look forward to when they see their friends are all seeing much more, when there's no other time to pass. The mobile seems to be the very important thing. Now they feel I am missing so. Okay, when they don't have work, suddenly the need for such kind of phone becomes an important entertainment medium.
Right.
So that way, I think there may be a rush from the first-time users, but not already somebody is having a kind of smartphones. I don't think they may go for a second phone so easily.
Mm. And e-commerce, you said it's likely that it's like, we'll see a shift to higher percentage online post the pandemic as well. How do you see that affecting overall retail?
Yeah, I think one person gain is another person's loss. Let's face it. Modern trade is going to get beaten. Social distancing is going to be a norm. So anytime you go to a big bazaar or a Reliance store, earlier you used to be kind of this thing, there'll be easily about 200 people in a store shopping at the same time. Now the whole this thing is only so many people will be allowed. And the same time only will be open. One person, so many people have to come out before next batch is allowed inside.
Right.
So though you have a shopping experience, that kind of number of people who can shop and kind of this thing is going to be reduced. So that way, I think you will be losing tired after some time. How long I'll wait in a queue? Hey, that's a very big queue. Now itself you are able to see. I went to buy some groceries for my home. I saw a big queue and said, okay, this will take another 1 hour by the time I get it. There's nothing doing. I went to a small shop and bought and went home. That's it. And no patience for this kind of things. So I think it will become like that kind of thing. That therefore a lot of kirana stores will benefit a lot. Small stores of Harmat who can dispose fast. You can see a lot of small stores will get open now.
Mm.
That will be a new opportunity. People who are kind of saying, suddenly they'll say, hey, instead of doing other industry, other kind of thing, let me open a retail outlet. I'm not telling. They will make quickly close to about 4,000 to 5,000 profit a day.
Mm.
If they have a 500 square feet area. It's not an overstatement. That means 1 to 1.5 lakhs profit in a month after their people, rent, other thing. If they manage it well with a good software, is going to be very, because all the big companies' losses has to be, because the small companies also you have people waiting in the queue.
Right.
So these kind of things will be there. Another thing, David, if you have to look at, the pandemic is such that it is not going to, if miracle happens, it's very fine. Let's assume it's going to happen another 12 months time to 18 months time only, the vaccine is going to come. So the most vulnerable things are high population, high density areas. Right. All the metros and the big towns are going to get royally kind of thing, going to get their own share of closed down. So every time it will be open for some time, again it will be closed, lockout and lockdown, this kind of thing. Second wave of infection is coming, third wave coming, fourth wave coming. You'll end up seeing this kind of a thing. So on this backdrop of on and off close down, the small shops will become much more wanted. The number of hours will be reduced. Your shopping hours today now from 6 to 1 o'clock. Later it may go to 6 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Anyway, the law and order, they would not be willing to risk even late in the evening. They say anything you do, 6 or 5 o'clock, 5:30, you come back kind of thing. And office and factories, 1/3 of the workforce, they are not going to allow beyond that. That itself will lead to job loss. What am I going to do by keeping the 2/3 if you are not going to allow me? A lot of companies are asking. So that I think is how long this will go on, but government also no option. They can't allow everybody to go and work in a kind of thing. Earlier, 1,000 people used to work in a facility, and that cannot happen now because that's disastrous given the kind of COVID. So these are some of the new normals are going to be, I think, social distancing now. Therefore, a lot of opportunities. It may result in new this thing. Some come. We ourselves are telling you, we are having about 7-8 factories working, third-party units, our own and combination across India. Suddenly, we are looking at how do we manage the demand, even whatever if it is going to be down by 10%, 15% also. We need to have more alternatives. If one factory is closed due to corona, can we be rest assured no person will get corona here? You are not sure. Your office may get closed. Your factory might get closed. Office might get closed. You can work from home. But factory, you can't do that. You can't work from home for the factory. You have to produce at that place. Machinery, materials, all are there. So we are looking at, can we create a backup option for each one? Somewhere one factory is closed, another can we create another 20-30% additional new factories to kind of this thing to augment capacity. Though we have already capacities, but we have to now very, very differently look at this.
You'll have to de-risk it in terms of production.
There is a cost attached to it. Already it is a pressure on volumes, but this is also we have to play because if 28 days, if they are going to close a factory, that will be far more disastrous. You lose market share. Period. And same to competition also.
Yes. That's a very interesting point you made about the small shops, So the local corner store is going to be what people would prefer to go to because they can go to it anytime. They don't have to go at particular rush hour times where there'll be lots of people, anything like that. You can choose to go at 12:30. You can choose to go at 3 in the afternoon because it's around the corner. So that's a very interesting observation. But what about outlets like salons and spas? Given that it requires physical proximity and contact, that's going to be a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll come to that. Before that, I would like to make a point. So when there are this kind of shops, more shops for shopping is going to be in demand. There are some shops which is not going to be in that kind of demand. They will vacate those shops. They'll say this is not going to be a good time to continue. I'm I'm bleeding. I don't want to continue. So somebody will quickly take it up and put a Kirana store there. Yes. So you see that this kind of things happening is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So I am seeing the Kirana shop capacities will increase at least by 20 to 25% in 1 year time if the COVID-19 continues. That means 20 to 25% more Kiranas will come, is what I am predicting.
And large formats will close.
Because earlier Kiranas used to work from 6 to night 10 o'clock. Now their timing is also reduced. Okay, and that itself creates capacity. Large formats also affected. So large format affected, some will go to definitely e-commerce, but not all. Therefore, I think this calls for a 20 to 25% capacity. Those who are willing to kind of having a good software, I want to put up 3-4 small stores, they will make good money. That's entrepreneurship according to me. So coming back to your question, David, on the salons, personal touch. I think the schools, colleges, malls, cinema theaters will be worst hit. Salons also, I think, will not be spared because personal touch, people will be far more afraid what happens, the kind of fear of this thing. But still, I think if the salons are able to demonstrate a very, very good habit, very good hygiene practices. And for example, we have worked out a kind of series of things that will give a fair amount of confidence to a customer. We have assumed that a person who is going to come is a COVID person. So how do we ensure that because of that nobody is getting infected in the salon? And we have also assumed we are having one service provider who is already infected. How do we ensure the customer is not infected or others in the salon?
So making it fail safe.
So it's almost what we are doing is we are almost looking at the way hospital functions. We have come out with a series of protocols. And that will be very interesting. We'll be revealing it out soon. So that after having looked at the protocols and the designs our people have made, I was very impressed. So I myself was thinking that give me a kind of this thing, a trimmer, I want to trim myself. I don't want to get cut. And after seeing the kind of practices they said, this is what they are going to do, that gave me confidence. I said, I am willing to bet myself first.
That's amazing.
So, that's, I think, is very important. That's what we are. They are also going to check with the customer. Is it giving you confidence? Is this the way we are going to do? So it's very easy. I think we need to look at that. If a COVID patient comes inside, how do I ensure others are not infected, but still we can keep carrying on with our business? If my own person is there, still customer doesn't get infected. Very, that's the maximum contact point. Neither the customer nor the other colleagues of the same thing. I think if we can ensure that because of the practice and the kind of this thing, the kind of thing that you do, I think it will be definitely reassuring to the customers.
Yes.
Those kind of things, this is a great opportunity. If you look at David, not all can do. This is an execution game. If this kind of thing is executed, the confidence level of consumer will short up. Those brands will phenomenally gain, not all the salons. Please understand, I quote, not all the salon will get the advantage. Those who are not following the kind of hygiene and practice and giving confidence, eventually giving confidence to customers, will drop dead. And those who are kind of able to demonstrate that will fly high.
That's
so, opportunity. If you look at the disadvantages, salon sector is going to suffer. But I think why I should look at that, let me be the topmost in terms of taking care of the kind of thing, winning the confidence of the customer, then I may not have capacity to run. I may have to look at more salons in this period. That's a very interesting problem, no?
Yeah.
So the only thing what we said is, this is the maximum. That's only one thing, David, I'm reminded of this. Customers are very, very simple. So one of the basic rule of marketing is simplify. Okay. So they don't ask for a racket kind of thing, a lot of other things, frills and other things. Before they choose a salon or a product or a service, they look at only 2 or 3 critical parameters based on which they make a decision. If you understand that and beat competition squarely by a distance, you are there. You will take chunk of the market share. I see that kind of an opportunity coming to salons now. If somebody can beat us, they will take maximum market share. So this is now redrawn, the new marketplace. The guys who are going to demonstrate very high hygienic practice will take the maximum market share. Hope I'm making my point very clear.
Yeah, absolutely.
But therefore, is a setback. We are looking at, why can't we double our turnover now?
You've turned it into an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. If that's the way you look at it.
What about FMCG product marketing, Mr. Renganathan? What will brands have to position themselves differently, do you think, given the concerns about hygiene and safety and all that? Will there be a shift towards organic?
My viewpoint is we have lined up quite a lot of products, David, normal course. We have all kept it, go back and sleep, hibernation mode. Okay. Now we are introducing topical products. I have to be relevant to current consumer mood.
Right.
So if he's not in a mood to kind of listen, I don't want to introduce my lipstick at this juncture. It's a very long time.
Yeah.
Okay. So I need to be very, very topical in terms of introducing what is that customer need now? Can I give that? I think we have asked that question. Therefore, I can only do this. I said that's not adaptability. Adaptability is, this is how it is. How do I give what is required to the customers now? So I am very happy to say that we are very fast in terms of turning around things in this kind of situation. We have an amazing team members in our organization who are able to kind of demonstrate agility, the speed, nimble-footedness, adaptability. I think that's very, very important in this kind of situation. We have rolled out our sanitizer in 15 days time. Till March 4th, there was no idea of introducing a sanitizer. March 5th, we all came together and decided, yes, let's do it. 20th, we build it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's correct. The next product, we decided within a month's time. Yesterday, we introduced our gadget sanitizer, the mobiles and laptop sanitization, kind of this thing, and surface sanitizer. 2 other products we rolled out yesterday. So that is March, in April, over. May, we are going to release 4 products. So that I think we are convinced we have a speed, we have quality, we have a proportion for the customer. You may not buy some of our current products. If I go and say I have a BB cream, beauty benefit cream, you buy that, they'll say go to hell. I'm not in a mood to like that. So I need to talk what they require now. So we'll do it fast. We'll turn around. Fortunately, we have a great R&D. We are able to turn around and kept a lot of products prepared and kept it on the shelf so that we can just like that take it up and pack it and go on.
That's amazing.
But what I'm seeing, David, in our own company, not to exaggerate, not to boast kind of this thing and all, we are seeing an opportunity to create another Kavinkar because of the COVID, the range of products. And suddenly this kind of an opportunity comes once in 100 years.
Absolutely.
It doesn't come every time. I can see it as a problem and sit home and wait for the sun rays. Or I can see that, wow, this is a great opportunity. Let me start fielding the products, what's required for the customer, and create another Kavinkar. And that's exactly what we are doing.
That's very inspiring.
Thanks.
This reminds me of that old saying, about the shoe salesman who went to Africa, and he sent a message back to headquarters saying, there's absolutely no market here because people don't wear shoes. Whereas another company shoe salesman went there and said, it's a virgin market. Nobody wears shoes.
Absolutely.
It depends on how you look at it.
Now, we chose to look at this pandemic as a great opportunity, than looking at that as a great problem. And we also said to ourselves, working from home is a great opportunity. We said we don't require any more corporate office. We declared that we are going to vacate our corporate office. Period. We are very clear. It's not slow. Now decision is made. We have all aligned. There's no more. If the government says lockout is over, 4th, we can come back. We are not going to go back. We are clear. So pandemic has given some advantages to us this way.
Yes.
Your last say in
But
April.
You'd probably have some space where, sales meetings that can, reviews and all that can take place. So everything moves online.
I think more fabulous online these things are there. All we require is, I think, if you start seeing like you and me when we see, do you feel like are you missing anything that we when we meet personally to this? I feel like I'm having a good interaction with you. I'm able to see you. I'm able to see your emotions. I'm not missing it.
Absolutely. And on top of that, you have this great background as well, which you won't get in a room. Yeah.
This is a current background.
What do you think will happen to businesses like restaurants and all, Mr. Renganathan? This experience.
Simply apply one thing, social distancing.
So they'd have to follow the same norms.
Absolutely. So what will happen is same norms, lesser crowd in this thing, or you require more restaurants, same way, more restaurants required, a lot of small restaurants will come up, the rates will go up. What you used to buy idlis, a plate of idlis at 40 rupees may suddenly become 60 rupees. So all these things are, you should expect the cost of goods will go up, inevitable.
And I think central to that will be the need to pay for more space around every person.
Absolutely. And suddenly somebody decided, I require office. There's two ways to look at it. Oh, we are vacating office, therefore a lot of people will look so, therefore office pay requirement will come down. Another way to look at is, very few will look at that way, going to office, quickly adapting. A lot of people will go back to physical office. Then they look at more space can I get, only 1/3 is allowed now. I have to accommodate my another 2/3. So I require to scout for more places. Suddenly all the real estates will get occupied. So when at a time when you think the real estates are going to fall, suddenly you'll think the rents, a lot of properties are in demand. Office property.
Yes. I think the kind of companies that there'll be a major shift in terms of the kind of companies that want space and the kind of companies that are moving out of space. If TCS has announced, that about 75%.
Yeah, that's 2025 over a phased manner.
Yeah.
So not like Kavinkar, which is already decided.
And they're talking about up to 2025.
Yeah, that's correct. So that I think is few companies will do, but a lot of companies would love to go back. Like the way I'm telling you, our factories. We are looking at how do 1/3 of this thing, how do I put more machines, current machines in some more factory and create more of this thing, able to work. Same way, everywhere social distancing is going to create more this thing, requirements of space in some of the areas. Some will vacate, some will occupy that.
Hmm. Do you think that, you've talked about manufacturing and how you need to have additional capacity to be able to cope, distributed capacity that too, in case a factory in one place gets closed down because of something like this, another factory elsewhere will take up the capacity. Now, do you see that sort of thing happening in terms of how would you would structure your marketing? Now everybody's working from home.
Yeah, no issues, no. If one person is affected, only that person is affected. Other person will continue to work. It's not going to affect our work.
Not in terms of geographical location. Functionally, do you think roles will change slightly, given the change in terms of the way people are looking at media and all of that?
Yeah, I think this time may bring in a lot of people to do multitasking, David. So that will become a new norm. From the specialization role to suddenly multitasking also will be required.
Right.
And you have to double up. And this kind of things might happen is my viewpoint. So I feel that people need to learn multiple skills, and that will be need of the hour. And more part-timers, consultants, online kind of this thing, suddenly a lot of jobs will open up. I'm telling you.
Right.
So far you have been taught this is only a full-time role. You will start finding that interesting offer from offline. And that what I think we must credit to COVID. So far the part-timers is not big time celebrated in our country, unlike US and the Western countries. That's a big this thing by itself. Part-timers are a big boon for them, not a full-timers. Here, because of the cost of people is lower, we always celebrate full-timers.
Right.
This time, I can tell you that will become a big change. One of the big changes you can see is a lot of part-time jobs getting created. Whether it is accountant to this thing, suddenly everybody will be open and willing to do that and forced to do that also in some time.
Right. And what is commonly called the gig economy, in that there are people who offer their services from home and companies source from them.
Yeah,
I think that can also take off.
We ourselves, David, looking at that, we thought about 7-8 jobs. We said the future, whatever we require, will go to the gig economy. We don't require, we'll get it done from the kind of this thing, these are future this thing, and we'll do it always the way it is. Based on the job that they do, we pay for them. And so they have the ability to earn more.
Yes. So in fact, we need to take a serious look at how we do business itself, in terms of how we deploy our people, how we strategize our marketing to ensure there's continuity. How do we, not marketing, how do we strategize our production to ensure there's continuity, and how we look at distributed marketing and using the best resources at all times, and if necessary, multifunctioning. I think the entire mindset has to change as well.
Absolutely. And now we are seeing suddenly, after we were earlier only an offline company. Now completely looking at work from home kind of models. We are a lot of other opportunities coming. Every day we are discovering a lot of new things. We are now looking at married women, family way, just kids, just born kids. They can offer 2 hours a day or 4 hours a day only. They can flexible at home itself. They can contribute. Phenomenal opportunity. We felt, I think, great these things are sitting in. So now we are specializing in how do we recruit online, how do we train online, and give them induction, job orientation, everything online. We are going to physically not meet, but ensure that the work is done and this thing and pay for them. So that I think our team is completely equipped and getting towards that. job by job we are doing it. Because that's a new normal. So physically meeting is ruled out. We would only see them over this thing, video conference and on a WhatsApp video on all these things. They'll be sitting at elsewhere. They'll be doing the job. They'll be paid for that. I think that's the way we are now looking at. Earlier, we always thought a physical induction is required in the marketplace. My salesman has to go. My sales officer has to go and induct the salesman and do all these things. Now everything is challenged. We created very simple kind of thing, videos and all. That sitting here, we are able to do that, and it's as effective. Now suddenly we are telling, why the hell we have been traveling and wasting so much money? So another thing to say, something like that, Microsoft Halo, Google Glass, all these things are a great opportunity. Earlier, our R&D team, packaging team, marketing team goes to fly. Something is happening at the vendor and new development, new design approval. They will all go there and decide online approval and so on. Factory, something is happening. They will go to the factory and so on. Now, anything in a particular mission, we want to see what is the spare or anything, how it is, what is it happening. They'll wear a Google Glass or a Microsoft Halo, this thing. They will walk around. I see that what's happening myself. You go there, you look at that, you go closer to that, have a look at this, everything you see yourself. So that way, I think technology, phenomenal advantage. So we said our traveling costs will be slashed by 80%. No travel cost as of now with COVID period. Anyway, we are not going to travel.
Right.
Many other ways to travel also, we have now conventionally cut that. And all it calls for is a zero budgeting. We said zero budgeting. Every cost, given this situation, is it required to undertake or not? We started asking that way. The team members, fortunate, they themselves asked and said, this is not required, this is not required. I was actually flabbergasted to see the kind of initiatives and the kind of cost cut the team came with. And that, I think, is a real surprise for me, and happy to note that. Because that demonstrates the resilience and the capability of the company when there is a challenge thrown at us.
Absolutely. That everybody is able to change, make a paradigm shift in how they approach.
Absolutely, willingly. That's very, very important.
Willingly, absolutely. The point that you made about people at home who otherwise may not have been able to be part of the workforce, now being able to be part of the workforce because of work from home. I think that's again phenomenal, because it empowers a whole lot of people with talent who otherwise were not able to engage. So that's really interesting as well.
That is, I think that's going to be a big boost, benefit, I'm telling you. Very, very big benefit. 2 hours, if you can give only 2 hours or 1 hour, 4 hours, no problem. As long as you have talent, you have your own computer, it's okay. What job which is not confidential to the company, you can do these things and get it done for us. It's fine.
And you know,
I think that gig economy is going to pick up big time. What I would say.
It's very interesting, Mr. Renganathan, that this happened now, because over the last, say, 3 years, and definitely over the last, say, 5 years, people being able to express themselves online has grown exponentially because of the phone and things like TikTok.
Yeah.
The kind of comfort level they have in terms of engaging online like this has gone up phenomenally and makes it so much easier to start working online.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is going to change a lot. I think this is going to be a lot of new normals going to emerge, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And all the companies need to be open. This is not a confidential job. I can very comfortably get it done. This is not going to be a permanent person going to do it. It is going to be a gig economy kind of thing related job. And this can be done through an exclusive, full-time committed person. So that way, I think my viewpoint is in the next 5 years' time, if I am to paint a picture, I think if company seriously open enough to do that, they may shift over to close to about 50% of the job to gig economy of the current job which is being done. Only 50% will be done by hardcore company full-time employees. Not an exaggeration. I'm able to see some of the jobs studied it. I think that's the way it can pan out.
So it will completely restructure the way business is done, I think,
Absolutely.
and redefine how people approach it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Phenomenal. I think that completes our time. It's exactly 7 o'clock. So we can turn to Group Captain now for questions. There are a lot of questions I can see.
I got a lot of questions from YouTube. What I'll do, I'll take one by one. I'll put it across. You may rephrase them, reword them, David, and any one of you can answer. Thank you, Sikar. It's a wonderful, great insight. It's very encouraging for us. And we also, the MMA, how to relook at ourselves and know when the lockdown 3 has been extended by another 2 weeks. So I think we have to face it reality now. Been just announced by the government. Now, there are a couple of questions about the communication. How does a brand communicate with consumers in an effective way after fear subsidies and a sense of normalcy returns? Another question in continuing of this is, beyond communication, how does a brand engage consumers to promote spending on their branded products?
I think if you talk anything that's relevant to the customer and which is the, I think you need to first empathize the customer. What is their current mood? That's the starting point.
Yep.
If I empathize and put myself into their shoes and talk which is relevant based on their mood, based on their spending capacity. So I think that's a very starting point. That itself will open up quite a lot of this thing. If you have the right product to offer to their current mood and their kind of abilities, I think you have a winner on hand. Provided you communicate very clearly, don't because quite a lot of time what happens is we end up communicating 10 different benefits. I have a child lock in the car. Who asked you to advertise a child lock in the car? So like that, power window and so on. You talk about only 2 or 3 points, which is the most sharpest thing that is currently needed by the customer, and tell what is that you are clearly listening, and try to also build a communication slightly more emotional about it than a very clinical communication. Sometimes clinical works, but if you also mix an emotional way of communicating the benefit, I think consumer will be lured towards that.
Great. There's another question again, a major brand. How can a major trusted brand develop an effective business strategy when the government has not adopted a uniform criteria as to when the business should be reopened? You even briefly covered how Kirana stores win over the major retails. It's going to be the major brand is going to be a clear disadvantage unless otherwise they take some innovative thing. Your views, sir?
I think I'm telling you, because of the lockdown, the brands have become commodities. I'm forced to buy what is available, man. I can't buy what biscuit I want, what shampoo I wanted, nothing. What milk I wanted, it's not. What is available, I'll grab. Whether it is a known brand or unknown brand, doesn't matter now. So that is the level you are pushed into. Only when the surplus easy availability, many choices when I have, then I think all this brand business will come back to life. This is not going to be like that. Because not all the time you are already pushed into a corner. So once the kind of choices are available, it will be there. But only one difference, if you have to see that the social distancing is going to be strictly practiced. You will see, you will be waiting at least 2-3 people ahead in a Kirana stores also, they will be there, you will be waiting for that kind of thing. So you also feel there are few people waiting behind you. So you won't have the mood to very leisurely shop. Please understand. That earlier, when I am there, I go to a department store, I will leisurely shop. You also see in a kind of thing, you go to a kind of this thing restaurant, when you see a lot of people waiting, you don't feel like leisurely talking and having food. You feel, because psychologically we are human beings are like that. The same thing will come. Therefore, what will happen is that the discretionary one, that when I have leisure thing, I will buy this and kind of thing. What I do in online, I will leisurely do on my own and say, okay, I do not have any idea of buying it. Suddenly I will start buying it. Those kind of things will take a beating. I think the essential, I go with the list, I go quickly, come back, is kind of thing. This time, I'm also telling you, a lot of people won't enjoy shopping. The shopping as an enjoyable experience will take a beating for the next 12 months. Offline shopping, I'm telling you. The enjoyable experience is going to be only in online.
Absolutely true. Now, there also a question from Vikas Chavla. He said, with companies that have a cash reserve, is it a great time to acquire companies? Is Cavencare planning to acquire any, sir?
So I think it is definitely a lot of opportunities that way will come. I think it's very important. You need to look at as to which are the companies coming. It will not come immediately. It may take some more time. They will get stressed out. The companies will not be readily quickly come. Another 6 months, 4 months, 6 months. Already having a lot of loans, not able to service the loans. These kind of companies will be in danger. So definitely there will be a lot of candidates. I can tell you. And there will be a lot of takers. FMCG, when it comes to, a lot of takers will be there.
Great, sir. Mr. Nandakumar wants to know if the job lost, entrepreneurship will increase to a certain event. What will be your suggestion for getting over the issues? Surely becoming a competitive will be a what way forward? What you have used if somebody want to take entrepreneurship right away?
Somebody wants to take?
Entrepreneurship, instead of going job seeker, you want to be a job giver. What should you be doing it? Because many, it's one of the students.
I think during
so uncertain.
during the course of discussions, we discussed quite a lot of new opportunities emerging in multiple sectors. I think that they need to be cognizant of and do that, is my viewpoint. Then when there are opportunities destroyed in many areas in the short term, for a short term basis, there are a lot of opportunities going to emerge. I think if you go and identify where the opportunities are there and spread your net there and fish, you will get a lot of fishes. And great opportunity for entrepreneurs. I would only say entrepreneurs have opportunities anytime. It need not have to kind of green. I think they always create opportunities.
Absolutely true. Then question from Vasudevan Sethuraman. He said you also mentioned briefly about the Kirana stores going to be doing extremely well. Local Kiranas are already adapting to the demands. Will they be able to win over the bigger market space now reigned by the giants like Amazon, at least in the cities and bigger towns?
Will they beat
Will they be able to win over the bigger people like Amazon and think what should be the business?
I think they should not compare themselves with Amazon at all. They have a quick opportunity of some of the neighborhood Kiranas is not open like 10 hours from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock so far. He is currently going to open from 6 to 5 o'clock only. That is an opportunity. And the bigger stores are not able to accommodate the so-called number of customers who are high potential, high volume customers who are going to come and shop nearby. They are the opportunities. Therefore, more Kirana shop has to be established. So that's the way. I think Amazon and the Flipkarts of the world is going to go at least double to triple. They are not going to be affected by that. They are the big gainers, I can tell you. Because somebody who is a high spender will look at, why would I go and stand here? Rather, I will ask order for in a big basket or Amazon and let it come and deliver here. It's okay. I have the shopping experience now online, virtual experience instead of physically going there. That's what will change.
Great, sir. The question from Mr. Manikantan Murugesan. Sir, you mentioned about job loss. What are your advice to the people impacted by the job loss? You mentioned your talk, reskill, upskill, go digital. Maybe you would like to add a few more for Mr. Manikantan's benefits, sir?
My point is that when there is a job loss, I think everybody, before Corona, the artificial intelligence and the digital world, already slowly but steadily, but I would not say slowly, but definitely at a reasonable speed, started swallowing many jobs. And whether you like it or not, the biggest Corona is not the Corona itself, the digital. And for the next 10 years, it's going to rock the world. It's going to destroy many more jobs. Parallelly, it will create some jobs, no doubt on that. But the point is, are we willing to reskill ourselves? And that's very important. Many a time, I think our mind is our own enemy. We think that, no, I think I can do only this. And no, I'm already 45 years old. What am I going to do? Now I'm going to learn. This is, I think we should get out of that. Whatever age I am adapt myself. I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn this new skill. I'm going to rock here. So you know that even in entrepreneurship, at what age KFC was started? 72-year-old person started. And then became a big hit. So you don't need to be kind of this thing. Young age doesn't matter. Are you willing to learn at any time? Are you adapt yourself to the new environment? Don't be a dinosaur. That's what I would say. Dinosaur couldn't adapt to the emerging circumstances and the economic climatic situation change. It said, I can't accept this kind of high temperature. Let the temperature come down. Temperature never came down, started keep on raising. It became extreme. So that's the same way if you look at, here it is the need for change in mindset of learning the digital skills. That skill set is going to be highly in demand.
Super.
And other than that, David is in a very sweet spot. The online, the social media, Anything you do in that kind of thing, related space, whether digital space, anything you do, I think you are going to rock. This is going to be continuing to be a great space in the kind of thing. Offline jobs will be there, but they will lose sheen unless they start adapting and they get this thing into online also to some extent. Because a lot of jobs, what you see is today you are all seeing there are bearers coming and serving you food and all. All will become next 5 years. I can tell you a lot of robots locally will start coming and to be served. One robot will cost you 25,000, 50,000. It will be given. What will happen? Tell me. Wait and see. All the cars will be automated. Drivers will have less this thing, automated cars and all. Today there are technological glitches and so on. All somebody will overcome that. This all will be there. So every job will be getting automated. So the point is, you instead of getting hurt by the job, let me learn the technique and start doing it.
Super. I'm sure Robo will never, at least, will not ask for a overtime. So there's also another question. FMCG companies traditionally have had lower focus on digital. What percentage of their marketing budget are likely to be focused on digital going forward? I want you, after that, David, we want your view being a head of a digital company.
I think a lot of companies said a long time offline is going to rule the rose. Suddenly print is shaken. Okay. That advertisement will shift over, the print advertisement will some extent shift over to TV immediately. And a lot of online also will start coming. I would not say print will out of this thing, but the question is that habit change, what we discussed, will be a kind of danger for the print media. But however, having said that, my point of view is that offline budget will steadily go to online budget. That is the future, whether we like it or not. All the kind of the thing, and more online is going to come. If you are anything to do with online advertising or any space, like David is in a very sweet spot, I think that will go into rock. And you require more social bits now. It's not, I think, after some time you go to David and say, no, I'm busy, I can't handle beyond this. I can guarantee you, beyond the level, it's not possible. They can have 100 people, 500 people, how much more? The demand is going to be much more. And we ourselves are significantly, we are increasing our online advertising budget by 300 to 400%. How small it was, now suddenly it is becoming, we said, earlier it used to be only 5% of our total ad budget. Now we said, can we do it about 40%? This is the kind of discussion we are discussing now. Suddenly jumping from that kind of an extent.
David, would like to add, I think your company is going to be really doing well with this input. What's your views on this?
Yeah, by God's grace, we seem to be in the right position unexpectedly. It's not that anybody expected COVID-19 to happen. But the good news was always that digital was on the upswing and had been growing steadily. It had been growing in, close to 80% in some years. In recent years, it had come down a little bit. But like Mr. Renganathan was saying, I think now it will go back into a surge. We're already seeing that even in the current lockdown situation with things like content and search engine optimization. And there are particular kinds of industries like online education, for example, or online career counseling, who have suddenly started advertising very strongly on digital because it's a time when they want to engage with people. So yes, digital will grow. But having said that, print is, yes, going to be a sunset industry, but it will not go away. It's like in the 1940s, when television came in and everybody said, oh, radio is dead. But radio is not dead even today. So people will choose to use a particular medium at a particular time. But the shift to digital will be inexorable. Print will be sunset because, like Mr. Renganathan pointed out, the younger generation may never take to print. They may just jump into digital straight away, and that becomes a habit. Now, what exact percentage will we see in terms of digital growth? It'll be in multiples, I think. It will not just be 80 to 90%, but it could be 200 to 300%, at least in the near term.
There's a question from Srinivas. He says, like olden days during my granddad time, saloon used to come home for private use. Is it going to happen again because people can afford to pay? You can give an exclusive service at home. I think you mentioned briefly, yes, home visit should be a possibility now.
Yes, we are seriously pursuing it. We have to adapt now, based on the consumer need. We will adapt. We are already seriously looking at that, and we will adapt to that.
There's a question again. Do you see a reverse migration happening from cities? What will be the implications for the brand marketing if this is to happen in terms of your labor intensive industry? How are they going to manage the labor when the migrating labors go away? It's going to be a serious issue for here and also for the labor who go to their village. What you may say is that agriculture will take a very primary view as it has been done in the past.
Actually, nothing will happen. Don't worry. Labors will go away. Demand supply gap. What will happen is, so far if they are paid about 500 rupees a day, then suddenly it will be 750. They will all come back, or 1,000 rupees. The money will go up, and it will lead to more automation. So people will look at how do I automate more. It is not that people are not going to come. You give 1,000 rupees, people will fly from Sri Lanka and Manila, everywhere people will come. If you are not going to come, government will open up and say, okay, outside people can come and work here if you are not going to come. So the money will increase, the quantum of money will increase, therefore it will be tempting enough for them to come back, is what my viewpoint. And automation also will parallelly will happen. Both will happen. But no time it's going to stop for want of a lab.
There's a question from an MBA student, though it's more personal, sir. It's a student, he wants to know, I'm doing audio branding, freelancing business. In short, means I provide unique sounds like Netflix, Nestle, and many other companies, what he's doing now. He has collaborated with another musician to do this work for him. And I charge $15 for the gig, and I do not do animation work. Does sound work as 50% partnership? What is your advice? How do we share this cost in terms of gig economy in being a student? I think it's quite tough to answer, but
I'm not able to comprehend. I would leave it to David to kind of answer this. Have you understood, David?
Yes, I think he's talking about doing audio.
Correct.
For brand work.
Okay.
Now, how to evaluate the sharing of the amount with the people, because he is producing everything and the person who is launching it takes away the cake. That's basically looks like his concern.
The reality is, if a brand initiates a piece of work, the copyright will belong to the brand. That is the law, because they paid for it. So you cannot provide services where you will do a radio jingle and expect to own the jingle after that. So that is not a realistic expectation in my view. So if you're going to be commercially producing audio for the benefit of brands or marketers, you have to be prepared to realize that when they pay for it, because they initiated it and they paid for it, the ownership lies with them. It cannot remain with you.
In other words, I would answer this way. The person who is close to customer will decide how much he will take and pass on to the next people. So it's a very, very important this thing. So if you are a A.R. Rahman or a Ilayaraja kind of this thing, you decide how much to pay to the musicians and the singers and so on, because you will say, if you are not there, I will create somebody else here. So that's the kind of this thing. So where are you in the value chain? You are in the 6th or 7th in the value chain. You can't have this thing unless you have very unique question. This kind of music nobody can produce, and only I can give this kind of thing. Then you can demand a very, very strange, very, very unique price. Like Intel Inside. Initially, when Intel came in, it became a big rage for every computer to say that Intel Inside, to put it that I have Intel chips inside. Otherwise, the computer everybody wanted to buy, they'll say, "Do you have Intel processor?" Yes, then I will buy. So that kind of a thing is a way of life if you look at it. So you have to understand where are you. Otherwise, if you are somewhere in the middle of the value chain or fag end of the value chain, I don't think. If you don't offer a unique proportion, you have to accept what is being paid and be this thing.
Brilliant insight. The brilliant insight. I think the takeaway will be brilliant for so many people who are watching this program live. So the next few months, reduction in demand and higher infra costs because of social distancing is likely to affect revenues. This may also result in lowering of salaries. On the other hand, government may increase the taxes to overcome the economic slowdown. Won't it be a double whammy for the large middle class of this country? What should be your views on this, especially focusing on the middle class economies?
I didn't follow your this thing. What it is?
They say, sir, in the next few months, reduction in demand and higher infra cost because of social distancing is likely to affect the revenues.
Yeah.
This may also result in lowering of salaries. Companies may cut salaries because these are all revenue generated. On the other hand, government may increase the taxes to overcome economic slowdown because the government has to is spending so much money on other projects. Won't it be a double whammy for the large middle class of this country? The taxation, the lower salary, all this is going to fall on the middle class people who largely depend on the salary class. So, what is the solution for them? What is the what is one word of advice for these people to way forwards?
So I can only say that it's definitely that's a reality. The cost and everything is going to go up. But I think still you can find some really value-based companies who offer phenomenal value at the budget what you can afford. I think there are companies like that. I can say that we are one such company, not to Tom in this kind of a platform. We introduced a sachet shampoo when it was 1 rupee. We had a 1 rupee sachet shampoo. In the year 1998, we introduced a 50 paise sachet shampoo. Okay, when we had 1 rupee. People thought when we introduce a 50 paise, 1 rupee will get killed. But we thought a lot of people can't afford a 1 rupee, therefore we should offer a 1 rupee. That is also one wash promise. Okay. So we introduced it only in the rural markets, not in the town markets. It's all available even today. So we are selling close to about 500 crore sachets today we are selling. That's the kind of thing what I am trying to say is it's a great opportunity if you have to say look at that kind of thing. Even after 22 years, today is 2020, we introduced in the year 1998, still it's 50 paise. Okay, so we always keep, there are companies like that. A lot of companies who look at that, how they give value to the customers at the kind of bottom of the pyramid and the middle class and so on. I think you have to identify such kind of brands which offers value and go behind that is what I would say. And there'll be, even in these tough times, there'll be brands will come to the rescue of the people is my view. But if you are only say, I am going to buy only this brand, then you will be ready to pay whatever price hike and other things you have. And that's the beauty of competition also. When there is a kind of this thing beyond the level, somebody is trying to make money and so on, there will be somebody will come out and offer at a lower price.
There are a number of questions from the students, mainly, sir, since companies may not be hiring in the next few months, most students who are completing the studies this year are likely to be affected. What's your one advice to them moving forward in this scenario?
Don't waste time, learn social skill, digital skill quickly, because big in demand. I can tell you, the artificial AI, data science is one of the things, subset of AI, this thing, data, digital. So the data scientist is going to be highly in demand and more specialized subject. If you learn that part, that I think you need to get into that. A good data scientist today gets paid about $300,000 in US. And a great data scientist gets about 800,000 USD. That's the kind of salary getting paid. And a great need not be about, say, 15, 20 years old. You can just be 3.5, 4 years old, very intelligent, very able to kind of radical solution is still be considered, and it's based on the talent and the kind of solutions one provides. Age doesn't matter. You can be young, you can be aged also. As long as you provide, you get such kind of salaries paid. And these data scientists are going to be phenomenally in demand. Not only that, anything in the digital space. I would say that without wasting time, get to learn that, get into that area, learn something, your employment will be easier. So many online courses are there. So many companies who are willing to do. Don't demand for a higher salary. Go and learn the skills. Then automatically salary will follow you.
Super, sir. Great, encouraging for many students who are watching this. Sir, there's also a question from Mr. Krishnan. What management practice will increase loyalty and stickiness in the period of work from home or a medium of 12 months? Because they say the poaching will be order of the day. If somebody is good, they keep doing. Means how do you get the customer, employee loyalty when they work from home for a longer period?
I think that is going to be definitely a concern. What I would like to say, but I think it is the capability of the company to retain them, provide them that kind of environment, provide them. I think people don't work only for salary. If you think only people work for salary, you are mistaken. It is the kind of company, they like the company, the kind of value system, the kind of people there, the kind of treatment you get, the kind of opportunity you get to grow, all matters. Salary is one of the important component, core of the component, middle. But if all others are very well taken care of, I think you will not lose people, is my viewpoint. But of course, the trend is also changing. I'm very good, this company is very good, but still I want variety. I want to enrich my portfolio, the experience. People move on like that. But company also should be reconciled to the fact that, I will keep recruiting somebody and train. But as long as possible, because if people are going to stay more and they are going to contribute more, the longer term they serve. The quick rotation, people moving on is not a good, healthy thing for the company, nor for the individual also. I have a theory to say that a person average, when you join first salary, what you get in a company, normally if you look at a good person, will get paid after 25 years. Normally, if you look at the salary, will bounce to 6 times to 15 times average. This is a normal course. This may fall in either in this kind of thing. Few people go to 50 times of initial first year salary, and few go to 100, few go to 1,000 and 10,000. Okay, so these are the kind of things. The question you need to ask is, where do I belong? How do I continuously invest in myself and I grow up? Because I've studied these people who have grown phenomenally well. They have spent long. They don't have worked in multiple companies. They work only in 3 companies, 2 companies. They've grown in the company. They've put a long years of experience. So I think that is a very important one. You want a very high kind of thing package to earn after 25 years. I'm not short-term oriented kind of thing. Don't shift to companies is what I would say.
Great insights. The question from Vinay Kamath. The question is for both CKR and David. In this panic buying during the pandemic, I noticed that people are just buying whatever they can lay their hands on, irrespective of the brand. They probably won't buy in normal times, but in these times of supply shortages, they are so. So what happens to a brand in these times? No brand equity, but more like a brand availability. Your comments on this?
I think people are looking for the category now, because beggars can't be choosers. That's the question to the consumers now. They want some biscuit, they want this thing, and I can't. If I look for my brand, I can't. If I don't get it, what to do? I have to take what is available. I am already in a lockdown situation. I can't take a chance of going into another shop, wait for another 1 hour and to buy. So now all of a sudden brands have become commodities. Exactly. Retailers rule the roast. If the brand is appraised at 10 rupees, then if they sell, then I'm going to give you at 15 rupees, people will silently go buy and go. They have no other option. So I think these are the current situation. This will not stay for long. This is my viewpoint. I think this comes once in a way, GC. This doesn't happen every day. David, for your comments.
Yeah. So yes, at this time, brands are commodities, right? Because like you pointed out, you'll pick up what's available because you need that particular kind of product, whether it's a toothpaste or a soap or whatever. But that doesn't mean brand preference dies. But it also means, since this is a short-term phenomenon, that brands must continue to communicate, but communicate not like they normally do, but with empathy, with understanding, and brands can also be helpful in the current situation in terms of how they communicate. If they do that, they remain part of this experience of going through this situation in the consumer's mind. So when products become widely available again, they will still retain that brand preference. So it's important to remember that. Right now, it may be a commodity situation, but brands must continue to relate and engage with their consumers.
Thank you, sir. I think next we'll let you go another 2-3 minutes. Can I squeeze in a couple of more questions? There are too many questions. Since you're also in the field of education, sir, they want to know, what about the education system? Because the whole way the education is going to be imparted is going to change. Now, how do we look at the education? Is the online platform is going to really rule, or the online platform is also not satisfying in the long runs? What's your advice to the people who are in the field of education?
I think field of education is going to go for a dramatic change. The cost is going to drop crazy. It may not be immediate. Suddenly you will find Harvard or the kind of the Kellogg's of the world offering here online courses at a throwaway price suddenly. So whoever thought that they require tall buildings and multiple buildings, physical experience, are discovering worldwide that I am able to give the same online, the similar course content and the quality kind of this thing. I can award a degree and full-time kind of this thing there. So far it's only you come here, physically you study here kind of this thing may go away. They are inventing new methods, even for the GD and other things and all. It's an online GD, everything is happening. So that way, what I would like to say is that I was talking to the dean of Wisconsin University, okay, about 10 days ago. He was telling that they were constantly every year they were constructing 100,000 of square feet of this thing, about 7-8 lakh square feet of building required for accommodate the capacity, the inflow of students. Mostly Chinese and the Indian students are flowing in that. So the overseas students coming in is a big craze. This pandemic, they are forced to shift to online. So in the last 1 month's experience, what we was talking is phenomenal. There is no loss, much more higher productive, and the students are also very happy. Now he says, I don't require any more buildings like this to construct. I'm going to go very aggressive online. I'm going to offer everywhere. So rather we have great content, we have great lecturers, we can communicate well. This is what is required. As long as the experience is understood, the students are ready now, they are accepting. They are not expecting a physical infrastructure building and so on. Then if I can beat the cost, it's phenomenal. I can tell you, we are thinking like that. We are looking at villages are highly starved of good quality education. Suddenly online, when the connectivity 5Gs of the world is going to be there, you can make your school education available of a high quality in their own language, local language, kind of this thing. You create a local infrastructure, make them to do. Either they read at home, or you create a kind of classroom which is there, and they can come there. A teacher from Chennai or from this thing talk in their own language. High quality education is given. Do you think they will be fabulous for them? So the education cost may dramatically drop, kind of this thing. I think it's a great opportunity. Online is a fantastic opportunity for education, and that will revolutionize. All it requires is government also should be a little bit more open. How they can impact the rural in a very, very big way. How to neutralize the gap between a metro and rural. Online is the solution.
We already want, yes, Mr. David, please go ahead. David, you want to add something? Please.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to a point that Mr. Renganathan was talking about earlier, about a person who stays in a company and contributes and the kind of growth they can experience. And that people who've stayed for long periods of time are the ones who really reach the top levels because of the rich experience they've gained and the recognition they've received for it. Now, when people are working from home, the kind of emotional connect that a company can build with them is slightly different, isn't it? Because when they are in the office, it's much easier to do that. So whilst work from home is going to be the norm going forward, we need to look at how do we adapt and use the tools that we have to build relationships with the people who are working from home. How do we create opportunities for them to engage, not just where work is concerned, but beyond work? Sometimes to build fellowship within the company, to build relationships, to maybe have a little bit of fun, because working from home is a highly intense experience because all you're doing is sitting and looking to the computer and working long hours. You don't have the breaks like you do in the office. So how can a company create those breaks and get them to connect emotionally with them and replicate somewhat the feeling of engagement and working with multiple people? I think that's going to be key going forwards.
I fully agree with you.
Yes, yes, go ahead, Mr. Sikar, please.
No, that I have nothing. You have to ask next question.
Yes, sir, we already overshot the time. If you permit me, maybe I can squeeze in 2-3 questions with your permission. Is it okay, sir?
Yeah, no problem. Please.
Yes. So there's a question from Jagdish. You want to know when can we expect your recently launched sachet-based hand sanitizer in the Kirana shops?
Maybe about 10 days time, 1 week, 10 days. Already as we talk, it's all getting into the market. You know, the problem is we started the production and all earlier. Getting the material, somewhere in the border it stopped. Getting the permission from each one, that state it stopped. It is to come here. It's all a big pain. So one material normally used to come in 4 days. Now it takes 14 days. So that Karnataka border used to stop. Maharashtra stops. Pune, we have to go and take a special permission, sitting here, request all the things, go pillar to post, look, this is an essential commodity, we have to do. That police has stopped. So I think this is the kind of problems we went through in the past. I think hopefully that is also, even today, that's the kind of thing that even today MHA has sent a circular. All unnecessary travel hassles, stopping, policemen stopping, not allowing, collectors not allowing, the kind of thing. It's all being there. So the vehicles has to pass through multiple districts and this thing. No? That is a problem we face. So that I think is behind, hopefully after the third, with a lot of circulars and other thing coming, then I think it should be there in the next 1 week, 10 days, it should be freely available. We are already started distributing. So by 10th, we could have supplied close to about 15 to 20 crore sachets. 10th of this month. That's on the way from the factories it's going.
Awesome. There's a question from Mr. Abhijit. These tough times ask for a new options. Digitalization has been at its peak. Speaking of capital goods segment, what kind of a strategy can we be adopted? Even though buying is less, not because of no demand, but considering the situation, any other alternative option that can be explored in terms of capital goods sectors?
I think I can't offer a generalized solution for that. So the key point to look at that, if this sector is going to do, if there is anything I can do, or the sector is not going to take off, then look at adjacent sector or do something that will add up value when the sector's value, when the sectors comes back to normalcy. So I think you can create something new value that will really be complementing when the sector returns to normalcy is what I would say. David, do you have anything to say on that?
It's too general a question, because when you say capital goods, it covers such a broad range of material that it's difficult to give a generalized answer as well. But capital goods at this time, investments are likely to be low because people are looking at sustainability, they're looking at conserving cash. So I think they'll have to lie low and wait till things change, unless there are companies looking at expanding production like Cabin Care, in which case equipment for the manufacturing would then be required. So it depends on what the capital good is. Accordingly, they'll have to look at opportunities in the current circumstances. But most companies will not be looking at, investing at this time. They'll be looking at sustaining themselves through this period.
Yeah. Next question.
Two last questions. Yes, two more questions, sir. We won't go beyond that. Mr. Krishna wants to know, in the digitized ways, what is the emotional draw when face-to-face is limited?
Emotional drop.
Draw.
Yeah, because you won't be any emotional connectivity, because you are going to be work from home and digitized. You will be hardly seeing anybody who is giving the input. So what is the emotional connectivity which you have been having all these days? And because the emotional connectivity, sometimes you do business in a different type. Actually, you are always given some time even for inefficiencies, maybe. So what's your view on that?
My viewpoint is that it is better to, if such kind of case, meet once in a month, have one day only for relaxed meeting kind of this thing, go back, all this kind of thing. Don't talk business. Okay, have a very, very relaxed kind of thing. It's a kind of retreat kind of this thing you can have. Those kind of ways you can build
Yes.
The emotional connect. There are many ways. I think online solutions also will come, is my viewpoint. Or make the screen bigger and see people face to face. Much more. I think 5G, if it comes, the connectivity is better, because suddenly, if you look at, none of the cell companies are having a big pushy time now. So far, they were under struggle. Suddenly, with the data consumption happening, everybody sitting at home, I think the whole tide is turned around for them. It's very, very good time for the kind of thing. So now a lot of data consumption is there. I think it's very important, that kind of thing, how they will, the data consumption coming in. I think you can see the kind of video much more clearly, bigger, all the options. I think there will be some more powerful software tools will come. You can see very closely. I am seeing that because you are seeing me almost a stamp size, you may be seeing that, okay, I am not still able to see the emotions. What if the screen size, if your whoever is talks up and very closely coming out, very big kind of this thing and all, you can set up even in Zoom like that. But I think that kind of thing, when you see, I think it will be nice. Is my
I'll just add to what Mr. Ranganathan said. You know, as a digital company, we started working from home 1 week before the lockdown. We'd already seen it coming. We said, you know, let's keep the safety of the team as a primary objective. And we started 1 week before the lockdown began, which means that we've been working from home for more than a month. And in our experience, like Mr. Ranganathan said, being on screen and talking one-on-one is a very real experience. You can see the expressions, you can see the emotions, and expressions of caring and concern come through very, very clearly. I can tell you that in the last 1 month, we've conducted things like mentor sessions, we've conducted online games, we've conducted training programs, we've counseling sessions, all kinds of things. And the team is working with as much energy as they were working as at the time they were in the office. And the emotional connect remains strong. So I think it's a question of a mindset that, you know, digital means there's no emotional connect. That's not true. I think it's the people who make the emotional connect. Digital is only a medium.
Super, sir. I think even MMA, we are doing back-to-back work from 8 to 8 in the evening. So what we started doing, Zoom, we started connecting not only with the people, we started connecting with the members of our staff. So they all enjoyed, and each of the staff really appreciated by the family how great job they are doing. I think that self-esteem, which is really grown up amongst my staff, that add to tremendous value. So one final last question, sir. What promotional activities we can engage? That is, promote our brands, promote positivity in the marketplace, or promote good cause?
depends on your mood and the purse size. So if you have a large budget, promote social good cause and all, no? Oh, this thing that's good. Do that beyond kind of thing. If you are having sufficient money, promote your brand. If you have more money, promote the larger cause. Is what I would say. David, what do you have to say on this?
Yeah, I would say that right now the consumer is emotionally fragile in the sense that they're under severe stress and they're looking for reassurance. So, as a hygiene factor, keep the brand communications going, address their concerns, empathize with them, be part of their COVID experience in a positive way. And if you have budgets beyond that, certainly talk about what you are doing to help society at this time. That can go a long way, where a brand is saying, yes, we're all going through this together, but we're doing our bit to help as well.
Fantastic, sir. Before we close, Mr. CKR, would you like to give a parting advice to all the people, being entrepreneurs or citizens who are really looking forward to the future? One parting advice, what you would like to share with them?
I would like to end with a quote because I am fascinated with quotes and they are my guides. Tough times never last, but tough people do. We are all tough people.
Fantastic,
you.
Sir. It's been a fascinating evening, sir. It's always a pleasure to be in conversation with you, and especially when a person with acumen and knowledge of David going to be conversation, you could bring the best out of you, and it has added tremendous value to the people who have watched this program. And you also did the core. I thought I must also share with you. In this, it's a fundamental today. Don't be fearful when others are also afraid. But what Warren Buffett said: be greedy when other people are fearful. I think that will make your business very good. Thank you so much, each one of you, for joining us this evening.
Thanks, group.
And
David, so nice of you. Thanks, all the viewers. So nice.
thank you so much. May I request all the audience to convey their appreciation to the distinguished speakers, all the viewers watching this program live on YouTube, Facebook, and also webinar. Share your feedback. It's very, very important to us. All those who are in Zoom, please thumbs up for the excellent evening what you had. 90 minutes of real talk, which is fascinating, insightful, thought-provoking, and please stay safe. The destiny is in your hands. Keep your hands sanitized, keep your hands clean, and also maintain the social distancing. Follow the government norms. 2 weeks is nothing long. We already done quite a bit. So till 14th, goodbye. We'll keep you engaged every day with different activities, some outstanding speakers. See you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Till we meet again. Take care. Thank you, Mr. Sekiar, and thank you, Mr. David, and thank you, Mr. Vikas, for facilitating this great evening.
Thank you. Thanks all. Thanks. Bye.